This is like the millionth eye video that I've done, but I swear this is the last one for now. But anyways, Happy New Year everyone, and I hope you're all doing good. But without further delay, let's talk about Modern Eye Productions. As the title states, our current series is heavily flawed, in part due to the writing, editing, and the way she's decided to switch everything up. I want this to be a meaningful and open-minded discussion. I also should make it clear not to harass Aya. This is purely my opinion, and you're more than welcome to disagree. Keep it civil. Now then, let's begin. I'll keep this section as short as possible, but this video started the trend of issues. First things first, there is no plot to this video. Reimu and Marissa go to see the pyramids, and Noriko tells them to leave. That's it. The humor Aya is known for is practically vacant for the entire video. It's just an awkward back and forth between three characters. On top of that, the editing seriously lacks punch, flow, or any sort of creativity to it. Speaking of, let's talk about that. First, the visuals. The camera shaking just makes me feel sick because everything isn't composed well. Keep the shot focused because this comes across as desperate. There's a difference between chaos and trying to give people a headache. Let's use two examples. The Baka Chaos, while not an amazing video, doesn't induce yawns, and it also does pretty much what I said. It's designed to be wild, and yet I feel like more focus was put into it. Whereas Pyramids, for example, is trying too hard to engage me. The second and most glaring issue is her audio mixing, which has gotten unbearable. Once again, take Pyramids. The sound design is dreadful. She plays the same movement sound for the camera and the characters over and over. I counted it, and it is repeated 56 times in a minute and 2 seconds. On top of that, it's played at incorrect times. That would mean for every 1.1 seconds the sound was repeated. In Kaguya Stinks, the same sound is also repeated. To be fair, ever since this, she has addressed it, though when it comes to the animation, that's complicated. Some videos it looks fine, and similar to how they did a while back, but in other videos it looks noticeably jittery, choppy, and not smooth. And as for the new voices, they are pretty bad. Due to them being AI, they are limited as hell. Any emotion you'd feel from Marissa hugging Reimu is sucked out because the voice is so flat. She's relying on the expressions to carry the scene in the same way modern SpongeBob does with silly faces. Now, it's not like she couldn't have gotten good AI voices because a channel I really like by the name of Sonic Discord server does exactly that. You could say that it would be tough to get halfway decent voices, which I'd then respond by saying take a break to fine-tune them, change the schedule, or just make an announcement. Alright, I have more to say, so let's get into the... I should note that at the beginning of this section I should state that of anything that I've said so far and all the other topics, this is the most subjective as humor pertains to a certain taste. But in my opinion, the humor has been on a downtrot for a good bit. There's a couple things I want to take into account, in my opinion at least. It's that it's boring, poorly implemented, or badly written. And by far the worst offenders of this are Knife Game and Hell's Kitchen. The others, for me, just give me eye rolls or are very basic, like some slapstick or perfectly cut moments. But with those two examples, I should also bring up the fact that Aya has begun to embrace edgy humor a lot more as of late for whatever reason. Characters getting hurt or killed in ways that feel gruesome. But let's take an older video for example, like Super Nue, where she gets hit over and over again for comedic effect and not much happens, but the humor is in the signposts, and I can appreciate that. And as well the fact that it's not trying to shock the viewer. Now for some contrast, take Hell's Kitchen, where Raisin gets killed and turned into a dish for someone to eat. Where did we go from Looney Tunes style slapstick to shock-based trash straight out of a Friday the 13th movie? But you get the point. And as said earlier, she relies on over-the-top expressions to carry a scene oftentimes, which does get tiring very quickly. Alright, I say it's about time that I actually give my thoughts on each video, starting from Pyramids to onward, and give them a scale from not good to 10. The same scale that Anthony Fantano uses actually, not good being the worst and 10 being the best. Live action footage again. So here we go. First video, Pyramids. I did not enjoy anything here. She poorly introduced a new character, the dialogue is utterly subpar, and the editing is some of the worst she's ever done. This is simply a not good. This video has some of her crappiest writing to date, and one of the worst endings with Patchouli getting stabbed in the fucking eye. And then also mentioning Flawed, who pretty much had nothing to do with this video, and just removing her from the conversation as if nothing happened is just peak laziness. That's not how we communicate. Like, you're over here saying that she's, like, being locked in a room, that it's messed up, and then in the next video that she was in, she seemed perfectly fine and everything was all fine and good. Like, where's the continuity? So, with that being said, considering the overall writing and how consistently unbearable a lot of it is, I just don't know what else to say, and I'm genuinely feeling a strong 0 to light 1 on this. The skeleton joke was funny, the ending was sort of funny, I guess, but I don't really have much else to say. I have a hard time remembering videos like this one exist, and I'm feeling a light to decent 2. It was nice to see these guys finally make some sort of appearance on this channel. It just feels really underbaked. The ending is kind of fun, but it's animated like shit. It's really jittery, choppy, and abrupt as hell. Also, like the amount of zoom in this video is obnoxious. Like, keep the damn shot still. It in the end, it just earns a light to decent 3. The first 10 seconds of this video are advertising another Toho Channel's game, which wouldn't have been a better idea to, like, just make an entire video about how fun the game is, make a volleyball video in the same vein as it, or just anything else revolving around it. I guess not, but yeah. And aside from that, Gordon is just weirdly harsh in this video, which, yeah, I get that he's normally really angry, but even in Hell's Kitchen, he has more emotion than just being pissed off. He has build up to him instead of just being a generic angry old ass chef. So yeah, this was a waste of my time. It gets a decent 1. Yuka Insanity, Gensokyo Bus, and the pranksters are all equally boring. Strong 2 to a light 3. This one's fine. This one joke drags it down by a bit, but the other jokes are fine. A light 4. As a fan of this movie, this is kind of dog shit. The animation is neat, I guess, but not really much. This isn't doing anything for me. Light 2. The visuals are kind of nice. The ending sucks. I have a hard time remembering this one exists. Light 4. Alright, I'm about to piss off a bunch of people by saying this, but I don't feel bad for Flawed in this video. She literally cuts off the bear's head and starts crying. Like, I don't feel bad for her. She's just a complete idiot. And the ending is really flat. Everything is just really rushed, and feels like everything was solved way too quickly. There was no struggle or anything in this video at all. And there doesn't have to be, but it could have still felt more like there was time put into it, which it clearly wasn't. It just ends really abruptly. This earns a light 4. I'm also going to piss off a lot of people for this one. There's, once again, no build-up to Reimu just becoming a cat person. This one joke was kind of funny, I guess. It's kind of flat again. The voices don't really help, like with the other videos. Where did Marissa randomly get this friendly with Reimu? I guess props for trying. This gets a light 4. There is a very obvious editing error at the beginning of this video, which was kind of funny. The commercial was cool, and there was like an expression or two that I liked, but that's about it. Raisin is a complete asshole for no reason. This gets a light to decent 4. This one's definitely better. There's some decent jokes, and the transition between the snow and, well, before that was nice. It looked cool. The animation was a little better, and, well, Cerno's just kind of an annoying piece of shit throughout the entire video for no reason. Though, in the dialogue, it is just stated that she acts like a kid, so it is nice, I guess, but I would need a little bit more clarity than just one short-ass line, which doesn't really do much for me. Yeah, so there is some improvements, but I don't have much to say besides that. The characters are still pretty wooden. It's better, though, so I'll give it a light to decent 5. This one suffers from some of the same issues as the Jaws video, except it's a little better. It is funnier, I'll say that, but it still has issues, such as it just being a poor adaptation. Like, it's Home Alone, but there's like 2 tracks in it the entire time. And Yukari randomly snaps at Reimu and Marissa when they ask for fucking help. And in the end, they were able to defend themselves just fine. That whole fucking call was just pointless. And the animation's kind of messy in this one, but it's definitely better, so I'll give it a strong 5 to a light 6. This one was almost great. It was really close, but it still has some of these same issues as the previous videos. So let's just go over the positive things, because I'm not trying to be negative. These are just genuinely my issues. So I like the design of the van and like just them branding, taking the branding into account because, you know, they're selling desserts now. It's cool. And the editing is a lot better, and it's really fun. It's actually kind of wholesome even, seeing them all get along together. But then it falls apart because Romelia, like, is just evil out of nowhere. You can tell how much, you could tell that I'm really concerned by how much I'm stuttering. But yeah, it falls apart because Romelia is just evil for no reason, and then Sakia instantly reverses the fucking problem like that. It just felt really pointless in the end. And also, there's this really weird slow motion in the video that's also used in Home Alone, which I forgot to mention earlier, but yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like when she does that. So this one was really close, but it just gets muddled really badly, so it earns a strong 4 to a light 5. This one actually wasn't too bad, but on closer examination, it is still a bit messy. I was going to say the animation is nicer, which it definitely is to an extent, but there are still some parts, like in the beginning, which I showed earlier in the video, where it is still very jittery and choppy looking, but otherwise the animation is a little bit better at least, so I can give it that. and there's more locations, more characters, and the jokes aren't bad, and the ending is a bit better. And yeah, it's not too bad actually. As a matter of fact, I'll give it a light to decent 6. You know what? This is the best of what I've seen so far. It's just a lot better. There's much more consistently decent jokes throughout. The animation is far better, though the background does seem to have a fucking seizure at some point, which needs to be fixed immediately, please. But otherwise, it's not bad. Everything just looks better. It's funnier. It's less fucking edgy, which I'm glad. A lot of videos have done that, which is a good thing. This feels a lot more like quintessential I, if you ask me. There is still problems, but I don't have many. There is one thing that does bother me a bit. Marissa doesn't even get her reward in the end for cleaning, which, at the very least, she does slap Reimu at the end, so Reimu does get some sort of comeuppance, though it does make the video a little pointless in the end, but it's a lot better than anything else, so that's something at least. So I'll give it a strong 6 to a light 7. As you saw, I was quite tough on the new videos in the recent editions, and that's because I really feel like they were tacky and wasted as far as potential goes. Though, despite all of this, I still ask that you all give Aya a sub, because she is trying and she's entertaining a lot of people. I'm just not one of them as of now. Again, please show whatever support you can. But anyways, I'm SML Continuity, signing off.